Welcome back to the Mind and Money podcast. I'm Val, a financial planner.
And I'm Sherry, a financial coach. And today we're talking about some spammy, unethical, just really shitty business practices that we have been coming across. And we're going to share what we are seeing ourselves. And I want to start by asking the question, and this is to you, but also to the audience too. Do these spammy business practices actually fucking work for anybody? Because they have to be, right? Because why are so many people doing them, and who is telling businesses and entrepreneurs to do them? And like, what the fuck? Find better ways to grow your business. And
so the question of if they're working or not, I think, to your point, is it just automated and they've just got it turned on and they're just like, yeah, whatever, if it works, it works, like just throwing spaghetti at a wall and seeing what sticks. But let's give some examples of the spammy ones that we see in our day-to-day world.
So the biggest one for me is just, and I think this might be the least unethical one, is just like the cold DM or the cold email, assuming that the service that somebody is offering that I want, which, I appreciate, you got to shoot your shot. But what I am seeing overarchingly is an email saying, hey, I do this. And the biggest one is with SEO optimization for YouTube. I follow your channel. You've got some really great content. I love what you're doing with your podcast. You're helping lots of ADHD folks with money. But then where it takes a sharp turn is, here's a screenshot of one of your videos and let me fucking trash it for you. And you're doing this wrong. You're doing this wrong. You're doing this wrong. Your videos aren't getting enough views. And I could help you with this. And it's like, do you really think that trashing how things are doing is going to lead me to be like, oh yeah, I really want to work with you? You think what I'm doing is completely fucking shit.
It must be striking an insecurity chord with people though enough to be like, I was thinking that and now you said it, so you must be able to help me. But that is not the way that I go about anything like that. That I do not like that energy at all. Imagine if we bullied our clients before we worked with them.
I couldn't imagine I'd have asshole clients. Like, I feel like starting the relationship like that is leading to a tumultuous relationship.
Very like defensive and turbulent.
And I think personally, because the main avenue for the podcast is through podcasting apps, and then it's on YouTube through an automation. It's not a focus to attract listeners and clients through the YouTube podcast posting, because honestly, I don't think that many people are watching podcasts. Could be wrong, but I think they're listening.
Yes.
So, and I guess if it was a focus that we were trying to do all the things through YouTube, it would be more likely to strike a chord. But because it's not the main focus, I do just kind of like water off my back.
Yeah, it's just interesting that they take that time and kind of get that in depth with it, I suppose, where we can't necessarily do that. We could look at someone's post on social media and be like, oh, I see you're spending a lot of money. You sure about that?
Like, yeah, it's tacky. And one of the newer things that I have seen is that people are subscribing to my email list and then hitting me up with an email like that, telling me something I'm doing is not good. And the premise behind that, I assume, is that the likelihood of them hitting my inbox is greater because they're responding to my newsletter versus just hitting me up with a cold message. But like, anytime somebody's hitting me up with a cold message, I am marking it as spam and I am blocking them, and that impacts their deliverability for future. So it's more like that push versus the attraction. So I think we both lean into
attraction.
We're doing things to attract clients to us that align with us.
Yeah, I think advice with anything in life, but especially when you're a professional in like the advice giving industry / guidance, it has to be given when it's desired to be accepted.
Yeah.
Because we could give advice to people all day long, but if they're not open / wanting to hear it, we are wasting our time.
Yeah.
Our energy.
And I am never going to work with somebody who hits my inbox up like that in a way that feels icky. Because if I was looking for somebody to help me with my YouTube SEO optimization, I would go and actively look for that.
Yes.
And look for a business that aligned with me, who I am, who my business is. I am going to go and seek out what I want. And, it could end up that somebody comes in my social media feed and I follow them, and then I follow them for months, and then I eventually reach out to work with them. But it's never going to be a cold ass DM with a, hey, sure, let's work together. And some of the things too feel a little more creepy because they're like, I will make 10 videos for you for free. It's like, but then what? Then I give you access to publish on my YouTube channel, and then you have access to that. I'm not going to trust somebody to get access to any of my platforms for anything if they're offering it free. But if I had reached out to somebody and said, hey, I want to work with you. Right. And they're like, I need your login. I'd be like, sure, because I'm
obviously you need that.
The one navigating the relationship.
I've also I haven't been on one in a while, but it would be like, collective webinar. And then at the end, there was a sales pitch.
That's the expectation that I go into a free webinar with. If somebody's going to say like, I'm going to give you 10 steps to improve your social media reach, and it's free, I anticipate a bit of a sales pitch at the end, but sometimes it's all a sales pitch and there's zero actual tips given.
And these ones were more kind of like personal development networking based. So it was interesting that the coach turned it into like, obviously that's what they turned it into. But I was like,
did you feel like you got any value out of it, or that it was just a really long sales pitch?
Some of them value, some of them super long sales pitch. Yes.
Yeah. And if you tell me I am going to get X steps to do something, or actionable steps to be able to make a pivot, or do something that I want to do.
Yes.
And you don't give me that value, and then you make the sales pitch. It's like, if you're going to do a workshop and it's predominantly going to be to lead to sales, give the value that you promise before the sales pitch, or like gently weave it throughout. Like there's very organic ways to do it if you're doing a workshop. Like if I was doing a workshop about, how to set your business finances up for success, you can weave it in there by saying, I had this client that blah, 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 and this action led to this change that I know you're on the workshop to see. So it's like, if you do this, you can have these results, and let me demonstrate that for you. Is more like, you helped somebody do this, maybe you can help me do that too if I feel overwhelmed by the 7 steps you told me to take, versus like that shove it down sales pitch.
Door knocking.
Oh,
I did door knocking early in my career.
Is that still a thing?
It shouldn't be.
Planners?
Shouldn't be.
But is it?
That was 8 years ago, and no one else was doing it except for my coach, if you will. Coach, no, like, what did they call them?
Mentor.
And he's like, no one else is going out and doing this, and I'm like, yeah, I think I know why. Because I don't want you at my door. That's not how, like, you're just meeting people in a geographic area.
Yeah.
You're not being the lighthouse. You are literally going from ship to ship, mean like, hey, do you want to come to this lighthouse? Because you look like a ship.
And I think, like, realistically, things are all just a numbers game, right? The more people that you have conversations with, the more likelihood that you are going to come across somebody that becomes a client, or somebody that refers you to somebody who becomes a client. But in 2025, there are so many other ways to do that aren't,
oh my gosh,
like that you're in front of warm leads, not in front of completely cold leads.
Yes.
If somebody rings our doorbell, it's like, 'cause generally our friends don't ring the doorbell, they just walk in. So if somebody's ringing our doorbell, it's like, who's there?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know if this is just who I am as a person, or if it's my generation. Somebody's at the door, I'll leak out our dining room window and see who's there. And then if I don't recognize them, I'm not answering the door.
No.
Like, there's too many other ways to connect with people that you want to actively connect with, that I wouldn't support somebody who's going to go and do door knocking. How can you get in front of people? But how can you get in front of people?
I don't think it's efficient either.
No.
At all.
Yeah, I wonder if there's any statistics in your industry. If you, because I think it's more of a thing in real estate too. A lot of it is the door hangers that they're doing.
Yes,
but it is just a numbers game. But in this day and age, you probably know somebody who is a real estate agent, a financial planner, a mortgage broker who you're going to reach out to when that situation comes. There's certain points in your life when you're seeking those people out, and it's not when some random person comes to your door. You also had somebody who was trying to pull your time and get on a Zoom call with you, who was a sales pitch.
Yes. So they book through my link that is for clients future and current, and they were looking to do a sales pitch, and I was like, oh no, like that's not
Hard pass.
Not what this is for, not what this time is for. If I am looking, I will again do my research, see who aligns with me, and go from there.
How did you know that that's what they were trying to accomplish?
In the notes, it was something about SEO optimization.
What is with the SEO optimization? Like, yes, it's good to make Google, the search engines, happy, but is it just that so many people are doing it? Or
there seems to be, or there's bigger companies somewhere that have their employees just hitting the pavement of the internet and trying to book and book and book.
Another one is like DMs, most specifically on LinkedIn about sales pitches.
Oh yeah. Yeah, actually I get a lot of those about sales pushes and also like trainings and such, and I get texts about becoming a 6-figure life insurance agent, and I'm like, oh, this is not for me.
And for me, it's actually made me really leery about accepting connections on LinkedIn because so many people, they send a request. If I accept, they are immediately in my DMs with a push. No, hi, nice to meet you. They just want you to jump right in bed with them. Like, no warm up, just right to shoot their shot. And like, there are business coaches, mentors out there telling people to do that, giving them the strategies to do it. And I think it's a really big ick and a hard no for me. Every step, every one of those things that we've talked about. It's just,
I think it's again, we're not trying to chase and push. We want to attract and be here and be in alignment with who we work with, so then we can have the greatest impact.
Yeah. And just like quick segue, what to do instead, so you're not a spammy jerk trying to find businesses. And this was completely unprompted. I've just added this twist now. And I think, like, for both of us, we use very different strategies to connect with clients. I lean heavy and hard into my online presence, social media, blog, the podcast. And I know it's a numbers game, and I've created strategies to help me feel less nervous about posting content. And it's like, really, every post that I post, it's like I give slightly fewer shits every time. Like, for the longest time, I had my Facebook memories come up, and I was looking through some old social media videos for my business, and they're so cringe. And when I look at a video from like the last year, and I look at one from early in my business, which I started in 2018, it's like, I could tell how awkward I was. And it's like, you don't get comfortable doing things unless you do them, whether that's actively managing your money, creating content for social media. And now it might seem like you're getting whiplash when you're looking at my content, because I post about anything that comes to mind. Sometimes it's money, sometimes it's ADHD, sometimes it's
life.
Like my Kindle, what I'm doing, like running, curly hair.
But that's part of being transparent. You are your business. We are our business. And that's for someone to get the feeling that they do know you and they do like you and they do trust you, as that way of like, oh, you stay top of mind. I like your energy and I want to work with you.
And if I'm giggling when I'm creating a video, I hope you giggle when you watch it. And the things that I don't tend to do are the things that you tend to focus on more. So networking, meeting with people one-on-one. I'm just like, I'm going to stay in my comfies in my house and have the flexibility to be able to do this from anywhere. I used to do more networking meetings, but it's just like,
you got to find the right ones. You got to find the right ones. The right ones, the right people definitely make a difference. But yes, like, I am definitely leaving my house more often than you. I have to put on real pants more often than Sherry does.
Hard pants are a no for me. And yeah, like, yes, I get business through referrals sometimes, but I think your much higher percentage of referral.
Yeah. But less social media, where yours is more social media.
And there's no secret formula to do anything, but specifically if you're an ADHD entrepreneur, there's no secret formula, no right and wrong to grow your business, or no right and wrong way to manage your money, except for spending less than you make. Quick thought, do what you maybe enjoy is not the right word, but do what you resist the least. If you don't like to be in rooms filled with people, that gives you all of the stress, the anxiety, it drains your social battery faster. And I think for me too, like, when it's rooms of people that I have some connection with and it's developing and deepening the relationships, it's just like small talk is something that I really do not like.
And I think there's like is this not for me, or is it just uncomfortable because it's not typical of me? Is it out of my comfort zone, or is it out of my lane?
Yeah. And for me, yes, it's not always the most comfortable. Like, I don't feel a lot of resistance to networking. It's just I would prefer not to. And what I'm doing is working and it brings me joy. I like marketing. I like creating social media videos, and it brings me a way to connect with people. And I just do what you love or hate the least. And don't try and do what somebody else is doing. Take a step back, think about what are the avenues I can gain clients through?
Yeah.
And which ones do I want to focus on? And when you try and focus on all of them, every action becomes diluted. But when you focus on just one, you're able to give it more time and more mental energy and
more consistency.
Yeah. And just know whatever avenue you choose to grow your business, it's all about planting the seeds. And those seeds can take a really long time to grow. But the social media seeds do take longer to grow. Like if you have a one-on-one conversation with somebody, that connection is way deeper, way faster versus somebody following me on social media. So if you're new to business and you're not sure where to start with those one-on-one conversations, those networking meetings, because that's going to lead to new clients faster. But then if you ultimately want to end up with social media being your avenue, then just switch it up as you're starting to feel some stability in your business revenue. But yeah, do what you love, and if you're thinking about working with a business coach, make sure that the things that they believe are going to be things that don't give you the ick. Because if you drop 10 grand to work with a business coach and they're telling you to send 100 cold DMs every day or every week, you're not going to do that. It will just be essentially like throwing that 10 grand away. So make sure you get a really good idea of who you're working with or who you're thinking about working with first.
Before you sign up.
Yeah. Please stop sending emails. We don't want help with our SEO. If we do, we'll come find you. So figure out another way to pull us in and attract us and not shove the services you have to offer down our throats. That is our parting thought on this lovely day. Thank you for listening to the Mind and Money podcast, and we can't wait to see you next time.